jobs, and now we're going to talk about goals. And yeah, I always wonder, why is it that some people seem to crush their goal they set, every single goal, while others stay stuck in a loop of starting over? Whether you're chasing a dream or building a business or just trying to keep a promise to yourself. Today's episode is about unlocking your personal Rubicon, your point of no return, so you can stop hesitating and start achieving. So let's break it down with the man who's made it his mission to help people go all in and win. So Pat Finn is the powerhouse behind Rubicon Results, a company dedicated to helping individuals and organizations turn aspirations into achievements. With a proven framework rooted in clarity, action, and accountability, Pat has coached hundreds towards real, measurable success. Whether you're a CEO, a creative, or someone just getting unstuck, Pat knows how to get you from goal setting to goal getting. Please welcome to the virtual stage, Pat Finn. Hi, Pat.
Hey, Grace. It is so great to see you.
So great to see you too.
Excellent job today, by the way.
Thank you. In spite of Spectrum.
Yeah, well, nonstop. It's like you're the Cory Booker of streams here. So very cool.
Kind of, not 24 hours. I might one day. I don't know. But with Spectrum, you never know. They might cut me out at 8 hours. But yeah, well, I was an athlete. I was a competitive swimmer. So I'm all about just keep going, and then crash.
All
Take
right.
a nap. Yeah.
Well, whatever you're doing is great, and you'll get a good night's sleep tonight, I'm sure.
Oh, yes, I will. Trust. So I know that I did your workshop and I loved it. Thank you for allowing me to do it. And it was just great. It was life-changing, to be honest, because I was kind of, coming out of my cancer healing journey and trying to figure out, what I want to do. And with your techniques, it's like now I don't even think about them. Like I apply them naturally, and it does help me just keep going and, just have your due date. When do you want to do this by? And
Right.
that's still with my ADHD and everything. It still works, and it works beautifully. So what is the first thing that someone should do when setting a goal in general?
First thing is to start to see if you can distinguish between thoughts that are in your head and what's coming from your heart, your true purpose, what lights you up in life. Because often our head, our mind is designed to predict and protect, and it will predict based on what it knows about you from the past, and it'll protect you from taking a risk. So as a result, if you're making goals out of your mind, literally from the thoughts that you have, there's a certain limitation to the goals that you'll make, and it'll be based on those limiting beliefs you have about yourself, like thinking, wow, can I do that? When you can start to actually, whether you take time to be quiet, whether it's a walk in nature, and just start to see what lifts you up, like what is the essence of you really want in life. That's a great place to start to set goals, is to be able to distinguish between the two. Remember, our mind isn't designed for joy. Our mind is designed to limit us, to be comfortable. That's our mind is all wired to be comfortable. And another way for saying comfortable is, you might remember in Rubicon, we talk about is being familiar. So it's, what if you keep doing what's familiar, you'll keep getting what you got. So it takes something to step outside of that and start to listen to your heart and what's really possible for you in life. So that's a starting point. And then, there's obviously other things that you can do. You start to look at, what would light me up? What would be the thing that would make the biggest difference for me? Where, am I thinking something that pops to mind, and then I immediately squash it based on your mind and step back and go for a moment. Wait, could another person do this? If you could imagine somebody else can do it, why not you? Other than you've got some limiting beliefs about yourself. So the first step is to set the goal and then work on what are the barriers to that goal along the way.
Absolutely. I always say, I just came to the realization that we're powerful and magical beings. And based on that, whenever I'm limiting myself, because the mind is more like torture, right? It's like it tortures you sometimes. And I'm like, shh, 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 shh. You don't belong here. Go away. And then I remember I am a powerful, magical being. And I tell that to myself. We can even heal ourselves. So that's how magical and powerful we are. We just have not been programmed or taught about how amazing we are, I think. And, a lot of people struggle with following through. Why do you think that so many people struggle with this?
Well, I think there's a couple of reasons. One is we get caught in a procrastination rut. If you procrastinate or resist doing things in life, it's not because you're lazy or have lousy time management. It's odds are it's because your mind at some point when you did procrastinate, when there was this moment of something that you thought was going to be difficult and you decided not to do it, your brain actually releases a feel good dopamine, like, oh, it's a reward. This is
Yeah.
great. Oh, we're not doing it. So now your brain is programmed to keep looking for what it makes it feel good. So the next time there's something that you're kind of resisting or don't want to do, or sit down and do the paperwork or clean up the clutter or do the taxes or whatever it is, and your brain will kind of encourage you to not do it, it gets more of the feel good chemical. So you got to break out of that cycle, first of all, by coming up with a goal that lights you up. The other reason people get stuck along the way is because there are certain limiting beliefs that many of us have, that I'm not good enough. Who am I to do something like this? You know what? I was right. I'm not going to be able to pull this off. It's easier to just not go for it. What was I thinking? Those kind of thoughts that pop into our mind. And the whole idea is to override those with like what you said, that you're this magical, powerful human being.
Yes.
Our minds have a negative bias. It will go towards reminding us of why we're not good enough in life. It's a survival mechanism that comes from evolution, because millions of years ago, we would need to step out of a cave and be careful and look what's wrong here, and always be looking for what's missing and what's wrong in order to survive. We don't need to do that anymore, but
Yes.
our brain will keep feeding us those negative thoughts. In fact, if you just imagine that the thoughts that you think programs your brain has something to do, those thoughts you have something to do with what you believe, how you feel in life, and the actions you take. Well, you've spent, not you, but us in general as human beings, we spent a lifetime over and over again programming not good enough, not smart enough. Who am I to do this? I don't want to take that risk. All of that, over and over again. So it takes a conscious effort to shift what you're telling your mind. You can override it. Michael Singer, in his book An Untethered Soul, talks about the fact that it is possible to override those negative thoughts. You can't erase them, by the way.
Right.
There was this great study that was done back in the 80s where they brought people in, they sat them down and said, listen, talk about anything for 5 minutes, anything you want, except don't think about a white bear. But if you do think about a white bear, hit this red button. And sure enough, every 45 seconds on average, people were hitting the red button, because you can't not think a thought. So those limiting beliefs are always going to be there. But if you, like you've learned to do, Grace, are so powerful in reminding yourself of who you really are, enough times your brain believes what you tell it. We've heard those stories of athletes who are in bed, before the Olympics, injured, and they go through the course in their mind. Like, the brain can't tell the difference between what's the truth and what you're feeding it. So the first step is to feed
Yes.
it what you want, who you really are.
Absolutely. Your mind has no clue. Let me tell you a story. I did a film, and they put like glass on my face, like fake glass and stuff. So when I looked in the mirror, I got sick, because I thought my brain couldn't tell that was not really me, with all these, fake glass thingies and blood. And so when I looked at myself, I got sick to my stomach. Like, my brain didn't understand. My brain was like, oh no, her face is ruined. Not the moneymaker, please.
Oh my
But
God.
yeah, no, my brain freaked out. That tells you how important my face is to me. It's just like, it freaked out. So yeah, your mind doesn't know if it's real or fake. It's crazy.
It's one of the reasons that, for example, people do dream boards, because you're feeding into your mind that this is the house I'm going to live in. This is the kind of relationship I'm going to have. These are the kind of travels that I'm going to do. Like, you're feeding it into your mind. It's one of the reasons we're talking about goals today, because if you come up with a goal that isn't just like this out in the future possibility, but rather it starts to become something you really believe, then that shifts your reality. So here's the way we operate in Rubicon. First of all, it's something that came from a Harvard Business Review, and it's called the Merlin factor. We have you stand in the future. In other words, really imagine whatever the period of time is, whether it's 10 weeks or 5 years, like you picture actually being there in that moment. And then you create what's the end result. Not like I will or I'm going to try to get this goal.
Mm-hmm.
No, I've done it. Like it is. It's July 24th, 2025, and I have lost 10 pounds. And you're saying it as if it's the
Mm-hmm.
truth. Then, and this is the most important part that people don't get, and I think it's the missing ingredient with people producing amazing magical results like you have, is to actually imagine what the feeling, the state of being, the frequency tone is having produced that result, because that's what drives us in life. We're all about, you've had so many guests today talk about our energy or our frequency or vibrating at the level of
Yes.
what we want. And, Les Brown said this great thing is he says, we don't get what we want in life. We get who we are in life. In other words,
Yes.
what is our vibration in life?
Mm-hmm.
So what we do is help you actually start to create this structure where you live life by creating a future, imagining that how it turned out. Then, almost like with a transformational time machine, you bring it into the present moment and you repeat it for your brain over and over again. It's July 24th, 2025. I have lost 10 pounds and I am so energetic and excited and happy. And you say that over and over again. Every time you do it, I'm energetic, I'm excited, I'm happy. I can see if you could actually feel those feelings. And then before it's even happened, it's happened in your mind. Your mind will then have your actions consistent with producing that result.
100%. Yeah. Your workshop has turned me into a goal setting machine and a goal achieving machine, which I always was, but not at this level. I think that something happened, like something clicked by taking your workshop. So if somebody wants to take your workshop, they can go to rubiconresults.com, right?
Right. Yeah. And we do a free discovery call. You can go there, and the discovery call isn't a sales call. It's really about you discovering something about yourself and then getting so excited about it. Maybe you'll want to do Rubicon to help you achieve that or not, but it's no obligation. No, it's free, it's complimentary. And we do that. RubiconResults.com will you'll see how to be able to do
I
that.
highly recommend it because honestly, you really have helped me. And the people also that take your workshop are amazing. Again, your vibe attracts your tribe. So
Sure. Maybe I can just let people know what the process is. Is essentially when you
yes.
sign up, you're we assign you to a mastermind team of 10 people. So you have 9 other people who have you back. You come to a Zoom call once a week where there's a whole curriculum about being the most effective you can be in life. But it's also about bonding with the team. And then there's a private coaching call with me each week. So that combination of the team peer pressure, the team connection and excitement of everybody raising up their vibe. We say all boats rise in a high tide. It's like it's lifting everybody up. And then the private coaching call, between the two of them, it's amazing. People write books and find the love of their life, or lose tons of weight, or start a new business, or get big investments in their business, or really anything that's a dream that you're not quite sure how to get there. As somebody once said to me on a team, I hold their hand to guide them while I'm kicking them in the butt to keep them.
Yeah. No, you're amazing, and the people that also work with you are amazing.
Thank you.
And you're welcome. Not just I was saying earlier, I don't give compliments. Like whatever I say, I mean it. So it's
That's one of the things I love about you. You're so authentic and I think that's why you're so successful, is because you're really who you are. It's like you're not putting on airs. You're like really present in the moment. And, to me, it's not a surprise that you healed yourself both physically as well as who you are emotionally and spiritually. So it's just
thank you.
great having the chance to work with you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Sure.
So it's hard for me to take compliments, but okay, bask yourself in the Okay. Yes. Okay. Yeah. I'll take it all in. I'm taking it all in. Thank you.
Great.
Thank you. So, what is a common mistake that people make when creating a goal plan? Because there's some science to that. Because you can say, "Hey, I want to do this," and then you know it's
Well,
not achievable, or it's like I want to go to Mars tomorrow or something. It's
right.
just like
Yeah, no, that's a great question. When I was back in high school days, I used to listen to Casey Kasem on the radio, and he would
yeah,
end his American Top 40 radio show each week with "Keep your feet on the ground and keep reaching for the stars." So
yeah,
that is the key, is to reach for the stars, but something that you see possible to get done. Now, you may not believe in the moment you can do it, but it lights you up like it is achievable. You could imagine, yeah, if things go well, if I stay in action, if I do whatever it takes, I can produce that end result. So saying I'm going to go to Mars, unless you're Elon Musk, that may not be the right goal, but having this sweet spot. And by the way, it is a sweet spot, because if you promise something too big that it doesn't get you out of bed in the morning because you don't really believe it's even possible, that
right.
doesn't work. And you don't want to promise something too small, because that also will have you hit the snooze button one more time, because it's like, yeah, I can pull that off, no big deal. There's this sweet spot of goals that we found where people are like, oh, when you say it, it almost makes you a little nervous or a little sick to your stomach. Like, oh, wait, I'm promising I'm going to do that, but yet you can do it. And
Yeah.
it's starting to operate again out of your heart and your essence, rather than out of your mind, which will limit you from doing things.
Completely, very limiting. Absolutely. So how do you help people prioritize when they have like a lot of goals?
Well, part of it is to step back and look at what are my values? What's important to me in life? Because sometimes people have goals based on what other people would think. Sometimes people have goals because they've just inherited them from their family or their parents. Sometimes people have goals based on what society thinks are good goals. And to
Mhm.
be able to step back and just authentically look for yourself, what is important to me? I say that you can do anything. You just can't do everything at once. So
Yeah.
part of it is to start to focus in. That whole thing of rather than look at the entire forest, look at one tree at a time. Like, how do you focus in? We actually have techniques of how to shut off the rest of the world for a period of time and focus in on that one thing. So it starts with getting clear what's important to you, not having too many goals, because some people, like Grace, you're so talented in so many areas, you could spread your light everywhere and not get anything done.
I
However,
know.
when you focus in, like if you take all the light in this room and focus it into a laser beam, I could cut a hole in the wall. And it's like that. It's that ability to not do everything, but to focus in. I saw an interview not too long ago with Warren Buffett and Bill Gates, and they were asked, what if they had to boil it down, what's the secret to their success? And they both answered separately, but they both answered the same thing: focus. And the
Yes.
ability to focus in on one thing at a time and then focus on the next thing. We in Rubicon, we talk about multitasking makes you stupid. And the thought of that is in all the scientific studies they've done, they've discovered that if you're working on this, but also doing this, and then working on this and doing this, your brain capacity and power goes down by 45% at least. And so what we've trained people to do is just do this, even if you're doing it for 20 minutes, then just do this if you're doing it for 45 minutes. When you do that, you relieve the stress on your brain,
Yeah.
you're that much more creative and that much more productive in being able to produce results.
Absolutely. As a person with ADHD, focus is the F word for me.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah.
the good thing is that we can hyper focus too. So we need someone to help us focus.
You know what's interesting is I just had a conversation this week with somebody that is on one of our teams, and she's in London. We have, because it's on Zoom, we have people on our teams from
Yes.
around the world, and she is an ADHD coach.
Oh,
And she was talking about that, like we always think of like it's a negative that you have ADHD.
no, it's not.
So it's not. Yeah, that's what
Not
she was
at
saying.
all.
Yeah, there's so many positive aspects to it. So
Very
yeah,
creative. Like the creative mind is insane.
yeah,
Like endless.
yeah.
Yeah. like ridiculous things. Like, did I tell you I finally did Maurice the French Ladies Man? If you want to check my Instagram, I have some clips there.
Oh, you did. Cool. Very cool.
Maurice the French Ladies Man. Ooh, he's a perv.
Fun. Uh,
Yeah. So see, like those things pop in my head all of a sudden, and then I bring them to life. And honestly, like your workshop has helped me bring my creativity to life, because sometimes I do think about something, or I write. I've written so much stuff, it's insane. And sometimes I'm like, what do I do with this? I don't know. And so now that I'm laser focused on, building my channel. So, my goals, right? To have the U screen with like the different platforms. So first I'm growing my channel with the transformational living, joyful living stuff. And so yeah, like you help me hyper focus all those creative endeavors into my goals. So it's about, like, if you suffer from ADHD and you have a lot of creativity, just make sure that you have a goal or some platform where you can put all of that in and brand it and just go with it, and not, like you were saying, instead of being a negative where it's like a lot of different creative endeavors and you don't know what to do, or you have a lot of different talents, and yeah, so you help people with ADHD. If you have ADHD, take the workshop, please.
but by the
That's
way,
all I'm saying.
you said something really great about getting it into some sort of a system. What we tell everybody is first of all, do a mind dump. Everything that your mind is trying to manage or remember, put it down into either electronic device or written calendar, whatever it is, and schedule it for a certain time. So instead
Right.
of our minds are a horrible existence system. It forgets things. It's stressful. It uses up energy trying to remember. And if you get everything out, there's a certain freedom, and just have it in existence somewhere so you can refer back to that thing. That helps you prioritize too, because it's not just a swirl in your mind. You're able to look at it down in front of you and go, oh, well, this is the correct order, I think. So I'm going to work on this, and next month I'll work on this other thing.
Yes.
There's one other aspect to that I'll throw in too, is we also suggest when you're putting things into time, like priority, later this month, whatever, have a category of, I'm probably never going to do that, but I don't want to have to keep remembering it and wasting brain energy. So
Yes.
it's because there are certain things like, yeah, sooner or later, I got to, I don't know, fix the scratch on the front door, but you know what? I probably am never really going to do that. But if I keep trying to remember that I need to do that, it's wasting powerful brain power. So now I have it in my probably never going to do it, but I don't want to have to keep remembering it category. And I may do it, but at least I don't have to keep remembering it.
Yes. And also, accountability is a big, big issue. When I work out, right? If I am accountable to somebody, like we go for a walk, then I'll walk. If I am accountable to myself,
Yeah.
I'll just sit on the couch and watch TV. But, that's just me. So what's the most effective way of accountability, a form of accountability that you've seen?
Well, it has to do with other people. Like one of the reasons in Rubicon that we match you up with an accountability partner with a daily promise, and you make promises to the team each week, because there's that positive peer pressure of you don't want to be the weak link in that group, so you do what you say you're going to do. In life, it's like that too, because our brain, again, remember, is designed to keep things simple, to not want to be uncomfortable, step outside of our familiar zone. And so it is a great at coming up with reasons or excuses. So if I say I'm going to get up at, I love your example. If I say I'm going to get up at 5:30 tomorrow morning and go to the gym, then, when the alarm goes off at 5:30, my brain will be right there to tell me all these reasons. You know what? You went to bed a little bit too late last night. You had a glass of wine last night. Maybe you can go later. It's brilliant at that. However, if I say to a friend of mine, I'll meet you at your gym at 5:30, and I know that,
Oh, I can't hear you. I don't know why. What? I think it's Zoom messing up. Can you guys hear him? Carlos, can you hear? Lindsay can but Lindsay is here. So wow, okay. I don't know what happened. You can hear me though, Pat, right? Yeah, okay.
There, is that better?
Yeah, what
Oh,
happened? Did you click
I
the mute button?
I could have. I don't know. My hands are flying all over the place. I
Oh,
might.
okay, good. Oh, okay. I hope it's that because if not, StreamYard, I have an issue with you. What's happening? We had two video fails. So, okay, so I'm sorry. So, keep going. I don't know if you want to pick up from.
Yeah, so it's we all know that when there's other people involved, you're more likely to do what you say you're going to do. So, if people do Rubicon, obviously we'll train people in that and having accountability partners. But just out in life, if you say you're going to do something, tell
Yeah,
people. For me, for example, over the years, if I tell my kids something like, oh, you know what, I don't want to be eating anymore after 8 o'clock at night. I'm going to, I promise I'm going to actually, wash the floor this weekend. My kids are like great accountability police. They'll be like,
nice.
Dad, I thought you said you weren't going to eat after 8 o'clock, like that. So include other people in your life to box yourself in. Because when other people are paying attention to what you say, then you're more likely to do it. It's one
Yeah,
of the reasons that social media, even though it gets a bad name sometimes, social media is great if you make a promise of something. If you
yeah,
say you're going to do something, like for some reason keep going to the weight thing. I don't know why, but a little while back, I wanted to lose 15 pounds.
yeah.
So I announced that if I don't lose 15 pounds in the next 3 weeks, I'll shave my head. Well, I had no choice but to lose the weight then. Every time I'd go to eat something extra or not work out, it'd be like, oh wait, I don't want to shave my head. And all these people know that I said that. So I had to get it done. So it's like that. Find ways where you don't give yourself any choice but to do what you want to do or know to do anyway.
Absolutely. And my last question is what's one daily practice that you recommend goal getters?
Um, to 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 schedule what it is that they want to get done, even though you
Yeah.
think, oh, I know I'm going to do that, or I'm going to get around to this, or I've got to do that other thing. If you put it into a schedule, you're more likely to do it. Now you can be flexible and move things around if you have to, but it's two things happen. One, it gives you the chance to prioritize and think through what it is that you want to get done, and
Okay.
then seeing it in schedule in real time. There's something about that then has you be responsible for it. Oh, like at 1 o'clock, I'm going to be writing this email that I need to write. Whatever it is that you need to do, put it into schedule. When we first started Rubicon, we studied over 50 different successful entrepreneurs and performing arts people and sports figures, and looked at what were the consistent habits among the people who had the most success across all aspects of life. And one of them was people would create a schedule, a to-do list,
Wow.
put in time for their day.
Hmm.
And whether you do it the night before or the morning of, it releases your mind from trying to remember, oh, I got to get around to writing that email. It's like, no, it's in the schedule. Now your mind is freed up to do whatever it else you're doing in that moment. So I think that's probably one of the most important things.
Oh, scheduling number one. I do write it down. I do have a Google Calendar, but I write it down. And for example, I have like anything I have to tape is green. Anything that I stream live is orange. Um,
Wow.
my personal time is purple. And the to do one, that one is blue. So it's like I kind of like circle them with, and so I know to balance. Like if I don't have any purples, that means I'm not doing self-care. And so I try to include more purples. And so color coding works for me for some reason.
That's great.
And yeah, and so yeah, definitely it is extremely important so you can see how your schedule balances also, not just the goal setting, but like, are you doing enough of this or that? Are you socializing or you're not, what is happening?
That's great. Yeah, we say in Rubicon, what you can measure, you can manage, and so when you put it into existence the way you're talking about, that's brilliant because you could actually see, that.
Thank you.
Yeah, really great.
That's the artist in me. I need colors to trigger. Well, Pat, thank you so much for this powerful talk and your insight into like action and clarity and commitment. Is exactly what we need in this world that's full of distractions and scrolling and texting, right? If it's a personal resolution or a professional milestone, your message is very clear. Stop waiting. Start crossing your Rubicon, right?
Right, absolutely. That's just, well said. This is about having this be the point of no return in life, and now creating your life from here on in. And there's something really powerful about that. So, um,
100%.
I
So
could talk to you forever, Grace. I know we're out of time, but I love talking to you.
I
Let's
know,
stay
same
in touch.
here, same here. And guys, please go to rubiconresults.com and schedule a free call with Pat. I'm telling you, it's worth it.
Great.
It's going to change your life. Okay. So if you're ready to turn potential into progress, that's, if you're not, that's okay, but still do the call. It's going to help. All right, Pat, thank you so much.